You may have seen videos out there where people rerun their personal best seeds, but being the superior YouTuber I am, I decided to take it a step further. Hey everyone, it's your favorite funny Minecrafter here, SpeedyCube64, and in this video, I reran all 3 of my Minecraft RSG personal bests that combined to under an hour. I wanted to revisit these 3 seeds in some way, so I asked you guys what I should do with them. The results were close, but you chose real-time runs over tool-assisted runs, so I went with that. My goal was to beat the world records in all 3 categories, so stick around to see what the final times are. Also, according to YouTube statistics, my channel has been going down the shitter for the past year, so I don't care anymore. Do whatever you want. If you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know that the order in which I got these personal bests was 1.16, then 1.15, and then 1.7. So I'll be showing you these reruns in that order. I start the 1.16 run by punching trees like usual, but I only get 2 logs. You might be thinking, why would I only get 2 logs if I can't even make a boat with that much? The answer is that I don't need a boat. While looking at the seed, I found that there was a buried treasure chest closer to spawn than the shipwreck, and it ended up having all the supplies I needed. So if I knew how to do mapless treasure when I first rolled this seed, I could have entered the nether even faster. I also end up going in a completely different direction than the shipwreck altogether because I found a lava pool that was right under the ocean floor. Despite the fact that it took a whopping 18 gravel to get a piece of flint, I still managed to enter the nether in under a minute and a half. After using a piece of TNT to get a ton of blocks, I start to make my way towards the bastion. The nether was one of the major shortcomings of the seed as a whole. Even though both structures were there, they took a while to get to. This contributes to the nether taking longer than every other split combined. Once I finally get to the bastion, I perform a different route than I did in my PB. This route is known as Boomer route, and it's faster because it gets the piglins to start trading earlier. After getting everything I need from trades, I'm free to leave the bastion, so I throw a pearl out of the backside of the bastion and start heading for the fortress. Four pearls later, I enter the fortress and start making my way towards the blaze spawner. I take a moment to craft my beds, and by a moment I really mean 15 seconds because of how good I am at crafting. I made these beds early in preparation for a blaze bed. I couldn't do this in my personal best because I only had 4 explosives, but in this scenario, I can just reset until I get 5. My rod rates were really good here. I got 6 rods from 8 blazes, meaning I only needed 2 cycles to finish the entire blaze fight. Even though this wasn't a random seed run, I still reset the seed over 200 times, and this was my best pace yet. So I was getting a little bit nervous, perhaps even more nervous than I was during my PB. An interesting fact about my PB is that my expectations were so low during that run that I was barely nervous at all. In fact, I had no clue that I had even gotten sub 15 until I checked the timer at the end of the run. A truly unexpected way to achieve such a significant milestone, if you ask me. Anyway, I built another portal at perfect coordinates to put me straight into the portal room. This portal room is actually ocean exposed, but it didn't really matter in my PV because I had 20 obsidian and calculators were unbanned by then. I entered the end in under 7 minutes, so this run has the potential to be sub 8 with a really good perch. But the dragon had different ideas. This end island is actually well suited for a 0 cycle, but because I only had 5 explosives, I decided not to go for it, which led to the end fight you see here. However, the dragon was just compassionate enough to perch after around 2 minutes, giving me the chance to beat the seed faster than the current world record for the category, which is a 908 by Cube 1337X. After using all 5 of my explosives to kill the dragon, I not only accomplished that, but get a sub 9 as well. So next up is the 1.15 run. The world record at the time of running this was 16 minutes flat by Doug the Pig. The world record now is 15:53 by Isgar, but as you might have expected, this small time cut in the world records didn't really make a difference. Now, I find the category to be quite boring because of how much time you spend rowing your boat from place to place, so I'm going to speed this up a lot while I explain some things. In particular, I'm going to ramble about the seed. If you've already watched my personal best, you might not think the seed is that great. After all, I did spend almost 6 minutes in the nether, and the run was at a relatively slow pace until I came across a stronghold. But let me spoil something for you. This seed easily had potential for world record. It's actually insane how good the seed is, and the fact that I rolled it after only 15,000 attempts is incredible. I'm not actually mad that I missed this potential though. After all, how was I supposed to know how good the seed really was? I'm just glad that I was able to get a top 20 time on this seed that still remains within 3 minutes of the world record. Besides, if it was world record pace, I probably would have gotten really nervous and choked the run anyway. I get all the emeralds I need from only 1 shipwreck and a bunch of hay bales, so now I can start trading for pearls. The trades are more expensive because I'm doing them all on the first day, but it's not a big deal because I only need to get 10 pearls. After my prayers for unlocking the pearl trades are answered, it's only a short distance to the stronghold. This stronghold location was crazy because on top of being ocean exposed, it was only 1400 blocks away from spawn. You might have also noticed that I haven't gone to the nether yet, and that's because I plan to enter the nether from the portal room, which you'll see in just a moment. I know this method of building the portal isn't optimal, but I didn't really care enough to improve it. Once I enter the nether, you'll realize why I chose to build my portal here. It turns out that doing so puts you right next to the blaze spawner. This is one of the biggest time saves of this rerun. If I had randomly came across the stronghold before entering the nether in my PB, the potential for world record would have been huge. But oh well. This blaze fight was definitely slower than the one you saw earlier. I got 5 rods out of 9 blazes, which is pretty good, but the spawn rates weren't that great. Despite clearing out most of the spawn radius, only 2 blazes were spawning at a time. After getting my 5th and final rod, I rush back towards the portal so that I can enter the end. At this point, I'm well ahead of the world record, but I wanted to prove how good the seed really was, so I had a different goal in mind. I wanted to get this seed down to sub 11. With a 943 enter, it's not looking too realistic. But just like in my personal best, the dragon perches super quickly. I noticed early that the dragon is going to perch, which is pretty much required if you don't have any spare pearls. I make it to the fountain with just a few seconds to spare and start exploding beds. The dragon flipped midway through the 1 cycle, but it doesn't matter. I was still able to kill the dragon and prove the true potential of the seed. And lastly, here is the 1.7 rerun. The beginning of this run is pretty similar to how I played it in my PB, so there's not really much to say here. The changes only start to happen once I'm done getting my basic supplies. This seed spawn point is only around 400 blocks from the stronghold, but in my personal best, I went in a completely different direction to look for terrain to build my tower. Then I had to travel around 700 blocks to find the stronghold. So in this rerun, I go straight in the direction of the stronghold instead. Since I spend less time running across land, I need to more heavily overlap gathering flint with running from place to place. I actually passed the stronghold at around this point because the closest lava pool is actually further out than the stronghold. So I will have to spend a bit of time backtracking once I'm out of the nether. Despite the fact that I use a completely different lava pool to enter the nether, the location of the portal isn't much different. It's just a tiny bit slower because I have to pillar up to the fortress instead of bridging to it. I continue mining gravel while making my way to the blaze spawner, and I also get my first rod from a stray blaze. The question that's probably on your mind right now is how well the blaze fight went, and I'll let you see that for yourself. The drop rate was just as good as the 1.16 rerun you saw earlier, 6 rods from 8 blazes. Combine that with a decently fast spawn rate, and you get a blaze fight that's over in under a minute. The blaze fight in my personal best took more than twice as long. If I had 10,000 IQ like Dream, I would have done an insane boat clutch, but unfortunately all you get to see here is a slow boat drop to escape the fortress. I'm out of the nether at 7 minutes and 20 seconds, and from there, it's just a short walk to the ideal tower spot. The blaze fight was so fast that I have a lot of time before nightfall, so I make a decision on the fly to start digging my tower hole before I pillar up. I dig down around 15 blocks and then pillar back up to start building my tower. From here, nothing really changes about the tower design. This setup is called One Block Tower, and it takes advantage of the Enderman's pathfinding mechanism in order to most easily bait them into the hole. For this rerun, I only needed 11 pearls because I knew the portal already had an eye in it. So after killing 20 endermen, I jump into the hole to check how many pearls I have, and I have more than enough. So I go back down to collect my items and pillar back up. I kill spiders for string while making my way to the stronghold. I get 3 string to drop pretty quickly, but a zombie steals one of them, so I have to kill another spider. I approach the dig down spot, but instead of digging down, I just jump down a ravine because it's so close to the portal room. I only have to dig 1 block deeper to find it. Once I'm in a comfortable spot, I craft all the things I needed for the end fight and entered the end in under 16 minutes. The end fight itself wasn't too bad, but it would probably make a top level runner cringe. It takes a great deal of practice to consistently get fast end fights, and at the time of playing this, I was a bit rusty. I didn't have any particular goal time for this rerun. I just wanted to go faster than the current world record, which is a 1919 by Teddy. So I had around 3 minutes and 30 seconds to kill the dragon. Despite missing a bunch of shots and getting some weird charge angles, I'm still able to kill the dragon with 5 beds, and the end fight ends up being just over 230, which is average for me. So the final time ends up being an 18:27, about 50 seconds faster than the world record, and all 3 times add up to 38 minutes and 18 seconds, which is faster than the current combined world record by almost 7 minutes. So who knows, maybe we'll see someone get sub 40 combined RSG in the future. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see my actual personal best in these categories, you can follow the links in the description or just click on these end screens. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay speedy. Peace.